All right, this is from USA Today. It says PayPal is collaborating with the Anti-Defamation League on research aimed at cutting off funding for extremist or hate groups. In a statement Monday, ADL said the research will explore how extremist or hate movements use financial platforms to fund their activities. Both that organization and PayPal say the results of their research will be shared within the financial industry, also policymakers and law enforcement. The chief risk officer and executive vice president of risk and platforms at PayPal said in a statement, by identifying partners across sectors with common goals and complementary resources, we can make an even greater impact than any of us would ever do on our own. As part of the initiative, PayPal and ADL will also form a coalition with civil rights organizations to protect marginalized communities from extremism. ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt said, we have a unique opportunity to further understand how hate spreads and develop key insights that will inform the efforts of the financial industry, law enforcement, and our communities in mitigating extremist threats. So that's the story. Here's a relevant part of the ADL statement on this new initiative. It says, the initiative with PayPal will be led through ADL's Center on Extremism, a leading authority on extremism, terrorism, and hate. PayPal and ADL will focus on further uncovering and disrupting the financial pipelines that support extremist and hate movements. In addition to extremist and anti-government organizations, the initiative will focus on actors and networks spreading and profiting from all forms of hate and bigotry against any community. This is a financial institution teaming up with Anti-Defamation League, which is really just a left-wing advocacy group, in order to target hate and extremism. Nothing to worry about there, right? Of course, there's a lot to worry about, and this was guaranteed. Now, we should have been worried about this. Back when concepts like hate speech took hold. Or even using a word like extremism or an extremist as if it's an objectively bad label. That's to be extreme in your views. Whether or not that's a bad thing, it really depends on what the view is. If you're correct, if you are in truth, then there's no way to be too extreme. There's no way to be too extreme about the truth. Extremism becomes a problem. Extremism is a problem of degree. If you're wrong, and you're extremely wrong, then that's going to be even worse than being sort of moderately wrong. So all of these were extreme, radical. Oh, we wouldn't want to have radicals. It's a bad thing to be a radical. Well, it really depends, doesn't it? Depends on what your cause is, what your movement is. Fundamentalist is another word related to that. It's a bad thing to be a fundamentalist, talking about religious people. Yeah, it's bad to be a fundamentalist if the fundamentals of your religion are flawed. But if they're not, then yeah, you ought to be a fundamentalist. Just means abiding by the fundamentals of your religion. If the fundamentals of your religion are violent, then yes, it's a problem to be a fundamentalist there. So it really depends. And that's also the case with hate. Is it a bad thing to hate? Again, it depends. It depends on what you hate and why. Everybody hates things. It's part of being a human being. Hate is the other the other side of the coin to love. They're on the same coin. In fact, in order to love something, you must also hate. Example, I love my children more than life itself. And because I love them, there are many things that I therefore hate. Primarily anything that threatens to hurt them and cause them harm. Anything that wishes to corrupt them. I hate that. It's a big reason why I hate left-wing gender theory, critical race theory, because of the harm that it does to kids who are indoctrinated into it. But we have, as a society, and including a lot of conservatives, we've gone along with this idea that all hate is automatically bad. You don't want to engage in hate speech is like a different category from regular speech. See, there's regular speech, which is okay, and that's when you're giving your opinions about things. But hate speech is a totally different thing, and that's bad because it means that you're using speech to convey that you hate something. Well, it's only bad. It's only bad sometimes. Depends on what you're hating, right? It's extremism. Is a radical fundamentalist. We allowed all of these words to become objectively bad in our culture, and now this. And now there's by the most powerful forces in our culture on a campaign to erase hate and extremism. And on the surface level, who could possibly object? They just want to get rid of hate. Hate's a bad thing, right? Hate speech is different than regular speech. Apparently we've all agreed with this and established it. But because it all depends, now it's going to be a matter of, the question is, okay, what type of hate are you going after here? Are you going to be targeting people? What about those who would hate someone like me for being a white conservative male? What about that kind of hate speech? Oh no, we're going to leave that alone because that's the good hate. Listen, hit that subscribe button right now. Do it right now. I thank you for your compliance. It is somewhat appreciated.